I'm going to go through the next section of Baucis and Philemon here, which is where arrangements are made for the unexpected guests. Meanwhile, they while away the intervening hours with conversations and prevent the delay from being realised. There was a bathtub there, made of beech, suspended from a nail by a sturdy handle. This is filled with warm water and receives limbs which need warming. In the middle of the house is a mattress of soft sedge placed on a bed with a frame and feet made of willow. They cover this with a coverlet, which they were not accustomed to spread over it, except at holiday time. But even this coverlet was both cheap and ancient, not to be deemed unworthy of the willow couch. The gods reclined on it. Now I'm going to go through this section in a slightly different way. Rather than annotating through by actually drawing on it, I've already put the stylistic features into the text, so you can see quite clearly the names that I'm using, how they're spelt, and whereabouts they crop up. So we start with some internal rhyme in medias horas, which gives the line a soft and echoing rhythm, right, with medias horas. Then the verb phallant, they trick, is personification, suggesting that time itself is gently deceived. And then phallant ceremonibus, they trick time with conversation, is enclosed by medias horas. So we get a closing word order here, with the time wrapped around the conversation, just as the couple fill the hours with talk. And then finally in that first line, there's some nice soft alliteration of the M's and the S's as well, which match the quiet, warm mood of this nice conversation. After that then, we get some nice juxtaposition between sentiri and prohibent. So to feel, they prevent, showing that I suppose not only is time passing, but the sense of delay is absent. Prohibent itself is also historic present, which adds some vivid immediacy. But then the shift with erat, there was, brings in the past tense, marking a narrative change from conversation to physical action, the bath. Line 28 then, we get some more internal rhyming with dura and ansa, which echoes the pairing in line 26. The adjective fagianus, made of beechwood, is enjambed from the previous line, right, highlighting it a bit. And in clavo suspensus, we get some harsh alliteration and sort of guttural sounds. There's the cl and the sp, plus that sibilance of the s's as well. I suppose that gives a sort of hissing, gritty effect, which is fitting, right, of the rustic texture of what's happening here. In line 29 then, we get quite a nice chiasmus, so an ABBA format or structure. Here it's an adjective, noun, noun, adjective. Our adjectives are tepidus and thovendos, with the two nouns, aquis and artus, in the middle. It's neat and balanced, and it mirrors the sense of care and hospitality in the moment. After that then, start of line 30, we get some polypton. So medio on line 30, but back up on line 26, we had medias, so a change in the same word. Then we have the phrase mollibus ulvis, some more soft alliteration for the soft marsh plants, which reinforces this sort of gentle, natural imagery. And then at the start of that line, the verb accipit, it receives, creates a moment of contrast. It moves us from description to action in a sharp beat. Now in line 31, we get a nice tricolon, right? Three different things. We get lecto, sponda, pedibus, so the bed frame, the couch base, the legs, but it moves downward in detail. The word salignis, made of willow, or maybe made of sedge, gives us that natural imagery. And there's also some soft alliteration in there as well that continues from the previous line, which keeps the tone gentle, I suppose. In line 32, Ovid begins with vestibus in a fronted position, right, with cloths. Signals that this blanket is the new focus. And then non nisi, we have some litotes, so a double negative used for emphasis, showing that this is a rare and special gesture. The hyperbaton as well, with the separation of quas and sternere, which, and to spread, delays the completion of the thought and gives a slightly formal and poetic effect. Now, continuing on line 33, Ovid shifts his tone slightly. We get some alliteration and some assonance. We have willisque, wetusque, wetis, so the repeated V sound and short vowel make the line feel frayed and tired. Next, notice that villisque and vetusque both end in the same way, right? This kind of rhyming ending, where the matching endings create an echoing sound that reinforces maybe the worn out quality of the objects described. And then finally, for these two words, we've got vilis and vetus, both cheap and old. They're both kind of synonyms for each other, or two near synonyms placed next to each other to intensify the sense of shabbiness, right? This is not just old or just poor, it's both, and both fully. After that then, on line 34, we have some more litotes. Again, it seems like praise, but really means that the blanket suits the bed because neither is particularly grand. After that, we have a little bit of internal rhyme with lecto and salerno, like we did right up at the start with medias horas on line 26, and down on 28 with dure and ansa. This is also a nice enclosing order. I really like this one. You get the sense that the clause has wrapped itself up just as the blanket wraps the bed, so it's quite poetic. Final bit then, we have a nice brief phrase, only two words to end this section, accubere dei, so a nice moment of compression. Accubere de reclines is elevated diction, the formal verb used for taking one's place at a meal, and then placed right at the end, this line, this words, the gods, delivers our climactic resolution, right? The gods have accepted the humble offering from Baucis and Philemon.